Today is a historic day with peace finally being brought to the Middle East. I don't think many people saw this day actually coming, but President Trump brought it. He actually said that he'd bring about peace in the Middle East, and he has done just that. And he got the deal done. He's in Egypt at the moment. He signed a peace deal between the Israeli government along with the Palestinian people, and also bringing about an end to the Gaza or Hamas versus Israel conflict, which really just amplified post October 7th. Now, keep in mind that it was Hamas that actually started this. Hamas has since released all of the hostages, whether they are bodies or they are alive still. And by the way, no female hostages are left alive. Makes you think, right? Makes you think for a moment why no female hostages have been left alive, because these scumbags, these despicable, vile creatures decided to rape each and every one of them and then kill them afterwards, and then starve the likes of all of the guys that are still left. Today is a historic and monumental day with President Trump signing a peace deal, finally bringing an end to a war that has been raging for a very long time. Will it hold? We don't know. But I mean, even people on the left are criticizing Trump because that's what they do. They love to criticize. They love to bash President Trump. And loads of people are demanding that President Trump actually receive the Nobel Peace Prize. If you ask me, it's somewhat overrated, although he does deserve a peace prize because he's brought about peace in the Middle East, first and foremost, which is a big deal. And then also he's bringing about peace elsewhere as well. He got the Cambodia issue solved. He got another issue that it was raging, I should say, for a very long time. He got that solved. And he's going to get the Russia and Ukraine issue solved, albeit that one's a little bit more technical, I guess you could say. But if you can bring about peace in the Middle East and bring about this conflict to an end that has been raging for goodness knows how long, a very, very long time, right? If you can bring peace in that sort of region, imagine what else you can do. Now, obviously, there are lots of these dingbats on the left, including Dave Smith, that are not too happy about the fact that the war is done. They're not too happy that, well, I can no longer grift. I can no longer make money on the conflict at the moment. I can no longer virtue signal. I can no longer make these stupid arguments and go on podcasts and say Israel is at fault for everything. I can't really continue my grift going on any further now. Crowder CEO says, I can't celebrate the end of a genocide because it may at some point in the future maybe start again. Dave Smith responds by going, it's great that the ceasefire has held for a few days and hostage swaps are taking place. Hostage swaps? So you're saying that the people that the Americans and Israelis are swapping, they're supposedly hostages? No, those people are not hostages, mate. Just so you are aware, each and every one of the people that have been swapped from Israel to being given back to Hamas, they're obviously known Hamas supporters. But according to Dave Smith, he's like, no, it's a hostage swap in general. Come on, mate. Seriously, I know you're a dingbat. I know you're stupid, but can you really just for one second use that God-given brain of yours? No. Got to keep the grift going for at least every last bit I can drain of it. This has got to be the most pathetic attempt gotcha that I see from a bunch of the Israel First crowd. This demand to celebrate before we even know if this nightmare is over is wild. So you can't even for 5 seconds stop and realize the monumentous achievement that we've got in this moment. That's saying something. And here is the dingbat that was outraged at Trump was going to cause World War III with the Iran 12-day war blowing up the nuclear bomb. This guy's got no idea. Absolutely no idea. All the warmongers that were going, oh, I'm America first, guys. I'm America first. And we wanted to bring about peace. That's what we really want. You start to see their true colors when peace is actually brought, and they're like, no, that's not good enough. It's not good. I'm skeptical. I don't know whether or not it's actually going to hold because Israel. Right. The quartering goes, how long would you consider the ceasefire to be going on enough to say that? Just so we're clear, I am America first and America only, but how long is long enough to consider Trump's job done? Dave goes, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by job done. As far as he's president and we are heavily involved in the region, the job isn't done. So Trump isn't allowed to be involved with bringing about peace in the Middle East. Because as far as Dave is concerned, America shouldn't get involved at all. Meaning America stays out of it and the Middle East is in a great deal of conflict. I'm genuinely not sure what you're asking. What he's asking, Dave, simply is how long would you consider the ceasefire to be going on enough to say that it's really war's done? There's no more. But according to Dave Smith, he's like, well, if America is involved in any kind of peace deals, that's too much. The job is still ongoing, apparently. I personally would feel more optimistic about the short term if this ceasefire holds for a few weeks. That seems more reasonable to me. And it's laughable to demand or imply that something is revealed by not immediately celebrating. So we're not allowed to take a beat and actually acknowledge and celebrate the fact the hostages have been returned. But then Joel Berry goes, hostage swaps? You mean Israel getting 20 hostages in exchange for almost 2,000 psychotic terrorists, many of whom are guilty of stabbing, shooting, and raping innocent men, women, and children to death? Is that what you mean by hostage swap? Oh, Dave Smith did not like that response because he goes, about 1,700, very specific number. Why not 1,701? Why not 1,720? But it's 1,700 dead on. 1,700 of the bastards, right? That's me saying that. Of those being released by Israel were being held without charges. How do you know that? Where's your facts? Where's your proof of that? Care to explain? Care to share where you got it from? The overwhelming majority were not fighters. Of course, you see them as psychotic terrorists and captured IDF soldiers as hostages. But all this proves is you have a psychotic, bloodthirsty mindset. Really, Joel Berry, of all people, has a bloodthirsty, psychotic mindset. You've got to be joking. I think when it comes to terrorists, I think we all have every right to go, you don't deserve to be breathing the same air that I am breathing currently. I think that's like common sense, right? Oh, but no. Going to Dave Smith, nah. We're the bloodthirsty psychopaths, even though he's the one that is saying, don't celebrate the hostages being returned. Don't. Why would we bother celebrating the end of a conflict that has been raging for a very long time? Why would we bother doing that? He's not optimistic about the long or even medium-term prospects for peace in the Middle East. I hope I'm wrong. Either way, today, innocent people are going home to their families and people aren't being killed in Gaza. And that is amazing. We should all be praying for peace. Well, that's all you needed to say, Dave Smith. That's all you needed to say. You just should have said, job done. Wait, can't say job done because you don't even understand what that means or what that looks like. All you needed to say was, Trump, good job. We should all be praying for peace. At least Trump got us one step closer to that goal. Now, personally, if you guys know your Bible, you know that the ceasefire won't officially hold because there's going to be more and more conflicts as the day approaches that Christ will return. And I mean, if we know what the end times are going to look like, we know that Israel is eventually going to stand on its own. So while that hasn't happened yet, we can still go, President Trump brought about peace in the Middle East for the time being. We can be grateful for that. Trump saying that he believes it's going to hold. It will hold. And I hope that it does. I pray that it does. But I know my Bible and I know what the end times looks like. And I know we're not there yet, but we will be there eventually because God's coming soon. That much we know. Anyway, today is still a historic day and we should still be celebrating, and we should be once again consistently calling out dingbats like Dave Smith. He's got no idea what the hell he's on about half the time, and why in the world do people listen to him? I'll never know. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.